everyone, Sevaro, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. Welcome again to my channel Sri Talkies. It's a new YouTube channel that I have created to give you more information on life in Canada and everything that it entails. This episode I am going to put the spotlight on myself and take you back a little bit and share my journey to Canada. What really transpired, why did I choose to come to Canada, and what was my life in India like before I moved to Canada. So taking you back on a bit of a journey, and I hope you enjoy it and take as many learnings from it. So I was born and raised in Darjeeling in India. It's a quaint hill station in the north of Bengal. I'm sure many of you know it for a Darjeeling tea, but that is where I was born and raised. I completed my initial years of schooling in Darjeeling and then moved to Bangalore for my higher education. So I completed both my bachelor's and my master's degrees in Bangalore before moving to Mumbai for work. I did work for a few years in Bangalore, but those were initial years and the very start of my career in India. In Mumbai, I worked for many years for the New Zealand High Commission. So I worked for the government of New Zealand and did a little bit of policy research and analysis as a technical advisor before I managed an entire team of visa processing officers as an immigration manager. So I was a part of the migration industry myself, and I was actually entrenched in it as a government stakeholder then working for the government of New Zealand. So I was very interested in the whole movement of people from the country of their birth or the country of their residence to another country. And it was fascinating to watch as a relative outsider, because I was in India myself, but as someone who was a stakeholder in the industry. After working many years in Mumbai, I thought about moving countries. I wasn't very from the very start, I wasn't interested, but I did think about, what country can I possibly go to? And what could my options be? And in a strange turn of events, and I say that because everyone expected me to possibly move to New Zealand, because I had been to New Zealand, had my stint there. I'd worked for the government of New Zealand for many years. So it would have been a natural progression for me to move to New Zealand. But I chose Canada instead, and I will give you a few reasons why. But then I moved and I landed here in February of 2019. I've been here for close to 3 years, and I have thoroughly enjoyed my time here in Canada, and 2022 is an exciting year for me as I build my business and continue to navigate my life in Canada with a lot more enthusiasm. Now, coming back to the reasons why I chose Canada and not any other country, there are a few reasons. And for anyone contemplating to come to Canada, this might give you a little bit more insight. And if you are thinking in this direction already, validate some of the reasons why you could choose Canada, or why Canada could be a better choice compared to a lot of other immigration options. For me, I'll share with you 4 or 5 reasons why Canada worked and why I chose it amongst many other countries that I could have possibly gone to. The first reason is the processes. So even though I was a part of the industry, I understood how sometimes extremely convoluted immigration processes can be. And while I'm not saying that everything was super easy and it all worked out for me, the very first go and all of that, Canada does have relatively easier and transparent processes as far as the options for immigrants are concerned. So I understood very well that these were my options. I understood what express entry meant and the process and the parameters it entailed versus other pathways, the PNPs or the provinces in Canada, etc. So the processes were very transparent. In a lot of other countries, there are a lot of policy changes. So every month there is a new policy, or they need you to have a certain job, and then they'll change that to needing different parameters, a different level of job perhaps, or your income level. It changes all the time, and it's a very fluid, fluctuating environment, whereas in Canada, things were transparent and they were, in a way, not shifting goalposts all the time, which made it easy for anyone wanting to navigate the system. Reason number two was just how quick processing seemed to be or was. I knew of a whole lot of people who had entered the express entry system, received their invitations to apply, put in their PR applications, gotten their COPRs, or confirmation of permanent residences, in 7 or 8 months, the entire end-to-end process. So that was another reason, because I was looking at a system that would give me, with some level or degree of certainty, how things would play out in the next 7 or 8 months or a year. I didn't want to be in the limbo and not know for years what was going to become of my application and be left in the dark and guessing, with this impending sword of not knowing what was eventually going to happen. So I chose Canada also for the processing timeframes that were involved. Number three, I liked how Canada looked holistically at an applicant's overall profile. I had a master's degree in science, but my area of work was different. So in a way, you could say that my profile was a little bit checkered and different. But I was very happy at how Canada was giving me points for my education as well as for my work experience, even though they were not immediately related. A lot of other countries seemed fussed about your area of work having to be in the same area as your area of specialization academically, which wasn't the case for me. So I was very, very happy to be able to claim points for education separately and work experience separately, and be able to add it all in order to bolster my cumulative CRS score. That was a positive for me. Number four, the reason why I chose Canada was because how immigrant or / immigration friendly the nation seemed to be. Even before I moved here, I had connected with agencies, settlement services that would help me once I landed in Canada. So just the amount of help there was available for someone who was moving from another country, it seemed tremendous, and I was extremely grateful for just how much help there was on the ground. You must understand that I did not have any Canadian qualification or any Canadian work experience before moving here. In fact, I'd never even visited Canada. So for me, it was important to be a part of a system that facilitated your long-term stay in Canada. So I was very, very happy with just how many people, how many services, and government paid settlement services they were that helped you at every stage. There are services here that help you from the day you land. Where are you going to live? Where can you get housing? How do you build your resume? How do you write a cover letter that is compliant to Canadian standards? How do you navigate the job market? I even had an agency that helped me with, do you need formal clothes for your interview process? So there were agencies and people helping me at every stage that I found extremely helpful and facilitative. Another reason was just how safe and just how multicultural Canada appeared to be, or having lived here a while, I know it is. That was one big positive for me, because I moved alone and I had no real support system here in Canada. I knew all of one person, and it was a little bit, I was nervous about being here and having to discover and make a life for myself alone. So Canada did seem like a country where there'd just be ease in the process, and to a large extent I can vet all of it and say that the reasons why I chose Canada have all proven to be fairly true. And if there are people out there wanting to move on their own, and are nervous, and you do have trepidation about the process, I can assure you that Canada is a very facilitative country, and that there are people and services here that will make things relatively easy every step of the process. I'm not saying that you will be mollycoddled and taken care of from the time you come here and land in Canada, but the ease of getting just stuff done or approaching agencies and people, it's a fairly easy and a facilitative ecosystem for you to be a part of. So these were the reasons why I chose Canada. Obviously, a lot of questions that I've gotten since the time I came here were around jobs. So when I came, I did not have a job offer, I did not have a prospective employer, I did not have any of it. So I had to start from scratch, and that's the reality of moving to another country. No matter how stellar your experience, no matter how splendid your resume, once you come to a new country, you have to start afresh. There are experiences that are more transferable or carry more weightage than others, but for many, many of us, it is starting from scratch. Everything that you've done does, in a way, get expunged from your CV, and you do start afresh. So that's the a willful trade-off that you make when you choose a new country and when you choose to start afresh in a new country. So yes, I did not have an employer, I did not have a job offer, none of that. I was willing to come here and navigate the employment or the job market here on my own, on the basis of what I had done and the skills that I had, and the value proposition that I brought to the table. In the episodes that are to come, I will share with you how easy or difficult it was for me to navigate the job market, or even just the trials and tribulations of moving to another country on my own. Over here, I'd like to say that even though I was a part of the migration industry back in India, I did hire a professional to work on my case. What I didn't know back then was the fact that only licensed individuals are allowed to give immigration advice. I did not know, well, I should have known, but I did not, necessarily check. But now that I'm a part of the system here in Canada, and now that I'm a licensed practitioner myself, it is important for me to tell people to be careful about choosing agencies or agents back in India representing their cases, because sometimes, professionals can actually do more damage than good. So you have to be discerning in the choice of who you work with, and make sure that whoever you're working with does help you put your best foot forward. So that's my story and how I landed in Canada. In the episodes ahead, of course, I will tell you, how life has spanned out for me. Even though in a nutshell, I can tell you that it's been a great experience overall, and that there's nothing I regret about moving countries. Some of the hardships notwithstanding, it's a different country, different culture, the weather particularly, it is hard, but overall, for me and to me, it's proven to be a great experience. Also, the choice of which country to move to is an extremely subjective one, because it's very dependent on your circumstances, what you want out of life. And for me to give you an objective blanket, Canada is better than New Zealand, or New Zealand is better than Canada, it's a difficult one, because everyone has their core reasons for choosing a country that is extremely specific to them. And so you have to make a very, very informed decision about why you want to move and which country you choose and why. And you have to have clear answers about why a particular country is better for you compared to others. So I will continue to give you more of my story and share more of my journey. The next episode, perhaps we can discuss the positives and the negatives of moving alone. I do know that a lot of people moving alone initially do move as students, and then they get on to working in Canada and then settling down here. That's a little bit different from just moving as a permanent resident from the very start, moving alone. So I will share with you the challenges that came with doing that, but also the victories and the successes, and the sense of real empowerment you feel when you navigate the system on your own. So I will share with you more of my journey next in the next video, and I hope you will continue to join me as you learn a little bit more about my journey and about Canada, one video at a time. Thank you for your time, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye-bye.